Clock ticking to a government shutdown. It's worth remembering President Trump is threatening to fire federal workers instead of furloughing them. It has been done in the past.
For nearly 8 decades, the Voice of America, VOA, has been the nation's microphone to the world. A government-funded broadcaster that transmits news, information, and American ideals into corners of the globe where freedom of speech is often silenced. But in a stunning twist, the Trump administration attempted to slash hundreds of jobs at VOA, framing it as a move toward reform and efficiency. Then, a federal judge stepped in, halting the plan, at least for now. Is this about saving taxpayer money, defending free speech, or something much deeper? Control over how America tells its story to the world? To supporters of the freeze, the ruling is a victory for journalists and the principles of democracy. To critics, it's a dangerous intrusion of the courts into executive authority. One thing is clear, this is no ordinary budget fight. This is a battle over who gets to decide how America's voice is heard. Let's break it all down. Chapter 1. The Trump administration's plan. The controversy began with a sweeping proposal by the Trump administration to eliminate hundreds of positions at VOA and its sister networks under the U.S. Agency for Global Media, USAGM. Officials framed the move as a necessary step to cut costs, streamline bureaucracy, and purge inefficiency. To the administration's allies, VOA had strayed from its mission. They accused the broadcaster of bias, claiming it often echoed anti-Trump narratives rather than promoting American values. The layoffs, they argued, were a way to restore discipline, eliminate waste, and reassert control. But to critics, journalists, free speech advocates, and foreign policy experts, this wasn't about efficiency at all. They saw it as a direct attack on press freedom and an attempt to transform VOA into a mouthpiece for partisan messaging. Chapter 2. The judge steps in. Just as the plan gained momentum, a federal judge issued a ruling that paused the administration's effort. The decision rested on both procedural and constitutional grounds. The court questioned whether the executive branch had overstepped its authority by unilaterally targeting VOA jobs without proper legal or congressional approval. For VOA employees, the ruling was a lifeline. Hundreds of journalists who faced unemployment suddenly had breathing room. For the administration, it was a frustrating obstacle. Another example, they argued, of courts undermining the president's power to run federal agencies. The pause doesn't end the battle. Instead, it ensures that the fight over VOA will continue, both in the courts and in the court of public opinion. Chapter 3. The Legacy of Voice of America. To understand the stakes, we have to step back. The Voice of America isn't just another news outlet, it's a Cold War creation, launched in 1942 to counter Nazi propaganda and later expanded to broadcast truthful reporting behind the Iron Curtain. VOA's mission has always been unique: to provide accurate, balanced, and comprehensive news, even when it reflects poorly on the U.S. government. Its credibility rests on independence from political interference. For decades, it has been a beacon of free information in countries where state-run media controls the narrative. That independence is precisely what critics of Trump's plan believe is under threat. By cutting jobs en masse, the administration appeared to be undermining VOA's ability to function as a trusted source of journalism, replacing it with a leaner operation more directly controlled by political appointees. Chapter 4. Journalism or propaganda? At the heart of this battle lies a fundamental question: is VOA journalism, or is it propaganda? Trump allies often lean toward the latter view, arguing that if VOA is taxpayer-funded, it should serve U.S. interests directly. Why, they asked, should American taxpayers pay for a broadcaster that airs content critical of their own president? Free press defenders push back fiercely. VOA's credibility abroad depends precisely on the fact that it is not a propaganda machine. Its charter, enshrined in law, requires it to present news accurately, objectively, and comprehensively. To turn it into a partisan megaphone, they argue, would destroy its value and reputation overnight. This clash of perspectives transforms a budget fight into a philosophical war over the role of media in democracy. Chapter 5. jobs on the line. Behind the political and legal arguments are the human stories, the hundreds of journalists, editors, translators, and technical staff whose livelihoods hang in the balance. Many of them are immigrants or bilingual professionals who fled repression in their homelands, only to find themselves under threat of losing their jobs in America. For these workers, VOA isn't just an employer, it's a mission. They dedicate their careers to bringing independent news to people who would otherwise never hear it. To them, the layoffs represent not only personal hardship, but also a betrayal of that mission. The judge's decision gave them temporary relief, but uncertainty lingers. How long will the pause last? And will their jobs be safe if the administration finds another path forward? Chapter 6. Courts versus the Presidency. This case also highlights a broader trend: the increasing role of courts in checking Trump's executive actions. From immigration bans to environmental rollbacks, judges have frequently stepped in to slow or halt controversial policies. For Trump and his supporters, this represents judicial overreach, a system where unelected judges block the will of an elected president. For critics, it's proof that the courts remain a vital safeguard against executive overreach. The VOA case fits neatly into this pattern. It's not just about jobs, it's about the boundaries of presidential power and whether the White House can unilaterally reshape institutions that were designed to operate independently. Chapter 7. International Consequences. The impact of the VOA fight doesn't stop at U.S. borders. Around the world, millions rely on VOA broadcasts for uncensored news. In places like Iran, China, and North Korea, VOA is one of the few lifelines to independent journalism. If VOA were gutted or turned into a partisan propaganda outlet, the consequences would ripple globally. Authoritarian regimes would celebrate, pointing to the decline of VOA as proof that America no longer practices what it preaches. Credibility lost abroad could mean diminished influence for U.S. foreign policy. By pausing the layoffs, the judge not only preserved American jobs, but also temporarily safeguarded America's reputation as a champion of press freedom. Chapter 8. Political fallout at home. Domestically, the fight over VOA has become another political lightning rod. Republicans aligned with Trump frame the issue as common sense reform, while Democrats describe it as a direct assault on free speech. Congress, which provides VOA funding, has also entered the fray. Lawmakers from both parties expressed unease at the scale of the proposed cuts, with some arguing that the administration acted without proper consultation. In the broader political battlefield, the case adds fuel to the narrative of Trump versus the establishment. One more example his supporters cite of entrenched institutions resisting his agenda. Chapter 9. The Future of Government Media. The VOA fight also raises deeper questions about the role of government-funded media in the 21st century. With social media platforms and streaming services dominating information flows, does VOA still matter as much as it once did? Supporters argue that it matters now more than ever. In an age of disinformation, where authoritarian regimes weaponize fake news, an independent and credible VOA is a vital tool of soft power. Critics counter that the private sector already provides global news coverage, making VOA redundant. The truth may lie somewhere in between. But what's undeniable is that VOA's survival depends on preserving its independence. Once its credibility is compromised, its usefulness to American diplomacy vanishes. Chapter 10. A turning point for democracy? Ultimately, this clash is bigger than VOA. It's about the ongoing struggle between executive power, judicial oversight, and press freedom. Three pillars of American democracy colliding in one case. The judge's pause is temporary. Appeals will follow. Political battles will intensify. But the decision set a precedent. Even in the face of executive action, the courts can defend the independence of institutions designed to embody democratic values. As America navigates political polarization and global uncertainty, the outcome of the VOA battle may serve as a bellwether. Will institutions designed to speak truth survive the pressures of partisan politics? Or will they be bent into instruments of power? The fight over the voice of America is not just about jobs or budgets. It is about the soul of American democracy. Can a government-funded broadcaster remain independent in an era of hyper-partisanship? Or will it become another weapon in the arsenal of political warfare? For now, a judge has drawn a line in the sand, halting what many saw as an unprecedented assault on press freedom. But the battle is far from over. Whose voice will America carry into the world? The voice of truth or the voice of power? The answer may shape not only the future of journalism but the credibility of the United States itself.